Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Angela. So I am doing my um Anthony's 31 Days of Tarot a little early today. And I'm going to do prompts 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20 just because I'd rather do them in clumps because I have things going on. So we left off on 16. 16 is which tarot decks give you the most insight by way of the imagery and symbolism of the cards rather than intuition or basic tarot knowledge. And I hemmed and hawed over this question for a good long while because it's a little confusing to me because to me, I'm an intuitive reader. Um, but to me, this question can only be answered if you're really new to it and you're learning by seeing what the images are. After you've acquired the tarot knowledge or the intuitive whatever you need, I think it's a little bit harder to discern what the images are saying after you've learned it for a while. That's a little confusing me. So I'm just going to show you one deck, and it's the deck I learned tarot on. And that is the Illuminati Tarot, or Tarot Illuminati. I actually had a deck prior to this. This was my second deck ever. And this is a deck that I really took the time to learn it on. And most of that is based on the images of the card, of the cards. Just because they're Rider-Waite-Smith light, but with just more added to them. And so it really helped me get out of my own way, get out of what I think I should know about the card, and really dove into the card itself, kind of on a one-on-one basis. And this is totally in order. There's Strength card. I haven't worked with it in a minute, so I put it in order. Hermit, the Wheel, gorgeous. Especially with this card, I literally stepped into this card. I did an exercise in my Tarot for Yourself book, and it teaches you how to actually step into the card and be in the card. It was a very weird experience, but it was worth it because it helped me so much by stepping into these cards and really being in the moment in the card of what's happening in them. There's some wands. But yeah, I really, really love this deck. I mean, that on top of the fact that the images are just beautiful, it really opened my eyes to the way I was reading tarot and the way I should be reading tarot. And the images in it really spoke to me. Look at that. Six of Swords. Show you some cups here. I just think they're beautiful. Look at that. And then some pentacles. So yeah, that was my answer to question 16. Was this deck. So let me put that back real quick. So question 17, I'm reading that upside down. What tarot card in the deck do you look out for the most when you get a new deck? If you don't like that card, does it ruin the deck for you? Now, if you watch any of my channel at all, you'll know what card is my favorite card in any deck. And I pulled some different cards from different decks here. But from my Light Seers Tarot, which is should be no surprise, it is the Eight of Swords. And I've talked about this card so many times. I love, love, love this card. It's probably my favorite Eight of Swords ever. And I love theirs. And if you hear screaming, my husband's watching the football game. So they're in the playoffs, the Chiefs. So he's hoping they'll win the Super Bowl again. And they're only 3 games away from it. So knock on wood. But I really love the concept in this card. And as soon as I got this deck and pulled this card, I knew why I bought this deck. Because this is how I saw myself for so many years. Is I saw myself bound, blindfolded, nowhere to turn. And that in reality wasn't the case. And as soon as I bought this deck and pulled this card out and was studying it and looking at it, I was like, the light bulb went off, and all this stuff came out from that, and a lot of healing. And so that is the card I look for in any deck when I go to buy it. But it's not always a breaker for me. A couple other cards I really like to look at are the Strength card. This is my favorite Strength card as well. I love the duality that she is the lion and the girl at the same time, because we all have those energies in us. And it's up to us to balance them versus let one take over or the other. So I love that depiction of the Strength card. And then the other one is the Hermit, because I do identify as the Hermit. My Soul card is the Chariot, which I don't jive with at all. I assumed when I first started reading tarot that I would be the Hermit, but I'm not. But I love this going inward, this introspection thing, and that's a beautiful Hermit card as well. And I love how there's a lamp here, but I love how she's emanating the light as well, because we all have that light in us. We just got to let it shine. So from a couple other decks I want to show, this is from my Universal Celtic Tarot. A little bit different depiction on the Eight of Swords. I love this Eight of Swords where she's not bound, she's not blindfolded. She does have the swords around her, but she's got wings. She's got the wisdom of the owl behind her. She's covered in these beautiful flowers. She could take flight at any moment, and she knows this. Versus a typical Eight of Swords where she doesn't really realize that she's free. She does here, and I love that concept. And then we have the Strength from that card deck. I love any deck that strays from typical what you would see in a Rider-Waite-Smith, whereas it was a lion, now it's a bear, or if it was a male or female and it's reversed. I love that. It gives you just a slightly different take on that specific card, and that's a gorgeous card. And then we have the Hermit from that deck as well. Gorgeous. Love all the little lightning bugs. And then we have from my, oh my gosh, I can never remember the name of this deck. Oh my gosh. Oak-Ash and Thorn. It's always slipping my mind when I'm trying to do the video. Sorry, I had to adjust my leg. But here's the Eight of Swords in that. And even though this deck, I don't know why, I do know why. It's an all-animal deck. Here's the backs. Even with a depressing card like this, it's still so sweet. And I don't know, that's one of the reasons I love this deck. And then we have the Strength card, and he's beautiful. With all the animals around him. He's just this towering figure in the forest that all these animals are coming to. And I love that. Because strength doesn't always mean physical strength. It could be just that shoulder they need to cry on. And this Hermit, of course, I could not show a Hermit without showing this adorable hedgehog. That is the most beautiful little animal Hermit I've ever seen. And I love all the little lightning bugs back there. That's cool. I got a couple more decks, sorry. And then we have from my Encore Tarot. I love this deck. Love that Eight of Swords. That very much trap feeling in this card. But she also has what appears to be a light in her hands, or between her palms, or maybe that's the heart of her, or the light from her heart coming out, letting you know there is darkness all around. She's blindfolded, but there is a light And it resides within you. You just have to show it. I love that. And of course, I could not show this strength card. It is gorgeous. Gorgeous strength card. And then we have the Hermit from that deck. Beautiful. Like I said, every chance I get to show that deck off, I will, because it's gorgeous. And then we have from my Super Linares Tarot. And this is the reason why I say the Eight of Swords is not a deal breaker. The Strength is not a deal breaker. And the Hermit is not a deal breaker if they're not great cards. Because I do not like this Eight of Swords. I thought I could get along with it when I first got the deck. I get I get it, but I don't like it. It's very dark to me. Very, very shadowy, depressing, even suicidal dark to me. And I don't like that. But the Strength card in that deck, gorgeous. Gorgeous. And then this Hermit is awesome as well. Beautiful. I love this inner sanctum part of this Hermit, and I love that. Love it. And then we have for my Bonestone and Earthflesh Tarot, this Eight of Swords is probably my second or third favorite ever. It is gorgeous. I love Anna Torrian's work. That is gorgeous. And I like how instead of being bound, she's seeing a different reflection of herself in the water, versus you seeing herself in the mirror or being bound and blindfolded. She's actually trapped in the water as a darker image. And I thought that was a cool take on that. And then we have the Strength card, which is phenomenal. Except for the snake. I hate snakes. And then this Hermit is gorgeous as well. And it's a female. And I love, like I said, any depiction where the sex is different or the animals are different or whatever in the deck. And I love this like eagle owl thing back behind her. Gorgeous. They must have scored because he's in there screaming. So I know that was a little bit of a ramble, but I had to show some cards off. That was number 17. And number 18, do you read reversals? Why or why not? I don't read reversals, and I'll tell you why. Because I am an intuitive reader. If it's meant to be negative, it's going to be negative. If it's meant to be positive, it's going to be positive when it comes out. I've read many, many times where the card is upright, and I'm reading all this negativity in it, and I'm telling the person this and this and this, and they're like, you're spot on. And I'm like, and they're actually getting mad because my foot's falling asleep. Sorry. They're getting mad because the one thing they didn't want to come out in the reading was the one negative thing that I pulled out. So that's why I don't read reversals. It does me no good to turn the card upside down. And it's the same thing. If it's upside down and it's meant to be a positive read, it's going to come out as a positive read, regardless of what direction the card's in. So no, that's why I don't read reversals. So that was question 18. Question 19. Share which deck gives you the heebie-jeebies. And let me tell you, if you've watched my channel, you already know this answer. And I made a box for it because the tech box it came in was crap. But this was my first deck ever. Let me pull out the extras here. And it is the Radiant Rider-Waite-Smith. I bought this deck thinking, oh, there's some bright colors in there. I had no clue about Rider-Waite-Smith. I had no clue about tarot. I had no clue about Oracle. I knew nothing. And I did edge it in like this highlighter yellow to try and bond with the deck. It never took. I don't want to say hate because that's a strong word, but I cannot stand this deck. I don't know why. And for a long time, because of this deck, I didn't like Rider-Waite-Smith at all. But I've since acquired 4 or 5, maybe 6 RWS decks that I absolutely love and adore. This one still gives me the creeps. I don't know what it is about this deck. It's just I everything that you're told to do when you first starting reading tarot. That was actually pretty pretty at the bottom, the purple mountains. Like, put it in your pillow, sleep with it, take it everywhere you go, edge it, trim it, all this stuff. I did all of it except trimming it, and none of it took. Like, I didn't understand it. I didn't. The concept was lost on me with this deck, and I don't know why. Because it's the same imagery as some of the Argivius decks I have, that I read with very well. It's just this one was just I don't know. It's literally like I have an aversion to this deck now. I can't stand it. And it's the first one I ever bought. I bought it in April of 2019. Because I woke up one morning and something said you need to go buy a tarot deck, and I resisted and resisted and resisted for weeks because I'm like, I have no interest in reading tarot at all. And then the need got so overwhelming that I had to go buy a tarot deck. I was like having panic attacks over the fact that I wasn't getting a tarot deck, wasn't listening to my guides. And I went and bought this one. I looked over all the options in Barnes and Noble, and this one seemed like it would be great for a newbie. It was not for me. I tried reading with this. Could not read with it at all. And then I went and bought, I waited probably 4 or 5 months. It was like September of the same year, 2019. I went and bought the Tarot Illuminati and immediately was like picking things up. And I'm like, okay, I just can't read this deck. Don't know what it is. And that's the deck that gives me the heebie-jeebies, because even holding it now, and maybe it's because I put so much negative energy in it, trying to read with it and being frustrated, that even holding it now just wakes me a little. So that was number 19. Number 20, what is your favorite tarot spread of the moment? And I lost my phone. I don't know where my phone went. Oh, goodness, hold on just a second. Okay, I'm back. So, I don't really do spreads a lot. However, I couldn't resist this one, and I did this spread with like 6 decks. And it's Simon from the Hermit's Cave posted this on his. Oh, and it's not going to show it. Let me see if I can go a little darker here. Okay. Can you see it now? No. Let me see if I can lower the brightness on my phone. Let me see if you can see it better now. Let me pull this up. You can see the images, but you can't read it. But it is, you basically pull out shuffle the deck, and then you pull out the 4 aces. The whatever card is after each ace is the card that corresponds with it. So if you pull out the Ace of Pentacles, the question is I have, and then whatever card comes after that is the answer. The Ace of Swords is I think, and whatever card comes after that is your answer. Ace of Wands is I want, whatever card comes after that is your answer. And then the Ace of Cups, I feel, and whatever card comes after that is your answer. So that was so interesting that I did it with like 5 or 6 of my decks that I have. I'm like, that's pretty cool. I really found it interesting, and it gave me different perspectives on a few different decks that I have, that my relationship with those decks, and it kind of gave me a bonding moment with some of those decks, and kind of helped me see where their perspective, where they were coming from, what they were here to teach me. So, and just different ways of teaching me. And so I thought that was very interesting. Now the other one I wanted to show you real quick is, and now I can't find it. I'm going to try to brighten my phone back up because it's dark. And I'm blind, so I need it bright. This is kind of cheating, but I had to show it. So I talked about manifesting things in my previous video. I just did my week ahead spread. And I manifested the Grim Malkin Tarot, the second edition. I just did my wish list tarot decks on day 8. This was number 1 on my list, and literally the next day it came to me. It came into my known consciousness. I became aware that there was one copy left anywhere that I'd been looking for weeks and weeks and weeks. It's been sold out forever. I looked every day at different sites, different groups for this deck, and could not find it anywhere. And then I did my day 8. And then literally the next day I was watching a walkthrough. I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to get this deck? I want it so much. And then it was literally like somebody whispered in my ear, go Google it again. And I Googled it again and went on this very bottom of the page. There was this obscure site that I hadn't seen prior. And it went on there. They had one copy of the second edition left. I'm like, seriously? So I jumped on it and bought it. It came in like 4 days. It was awesome. But the reason I pulled this out is the Meow spread. And I think that is adorable. And I have yet to do it, but I'm going to do it. The Meow spread is an anagram. So the first one is motivation. What is your motivation? What is sparking action? The second one is the E, external influences. What outside influences are adding friction or support to your situation? What is not in your control? And then the O is for obstacle. What is getting in your way? Is it real or is it perceived? That's new. I like that. And then W is wisdom. The wisdom the cats bring back to you that will help you reach or move in the most beneficial direction. And I love that. And I'm totally going to do that with like a few of my decks, like I did with the spread from Simon. So yeah, I just find that interesting. And I don't really do spreads a lot, but when I find one, I'm like, yeah, I wind up doing that same spread with like all of my decks. It's weird. So that is day 20. Yeah, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification button so you're alerted to any future videos. And I'll see you next time. Bye.